We're back, baby. It's Charity Stripe. Pitch your free throws because they are free. Joshua Fisher, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider, and Alex Toss Me the Rock. Tosopoulos, welcome back from Dallas, my dear friend. It is Monday, March 27th.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was lost in the sauce there.
Does it even matter these days?
Does it even matter? Well, we're going to get into that. We'll lead off with the depressing March Madness. We have a lot of great stuff to talk about today with Lamar, MLB underway, and the disaster of the Dallas Mavericks. But
sad.
So yeah, the only
thing the date reminds me of is that we're getting close to the beginning of the month when I need to pay rent, and that's what I really care about on the calendar these days.
Yep. Or coming to an end of tax season, or April Fools.
True.
Or
Be careful, be on your toes.
Some of our
High alert for
some
that.
of our favorite times in 2 weekends. An event that I don't think any of the three of us really loved that much before we started doing this, but now have come to love. Not WrestleMania, because I've always loved that, but have come to love, in the past few years, the Masters.
I've liked it for a long time.
But I feel like not as much as we've liked it since we've been doing that pool, since, we've been covering it. I think that the love has grown.
I can say personally that my love for golf generally
Has
grown
Generally,
since I got to college.
But for the Masters. I watched every Masters growing up.
I've watched it, but I think my level of interest is. It was never something I was looking forward to. Where I'm like, okay, I can't wait. Like April 6th through the 9th, locked in on the TV, praying that my team is still going to be alive on Sunday. It's a great feeling to be.
Of all the sports events, going to the majors in tennis, going to the major championships in golf, going to World Series, which you've gone to, NBA Finals. Where does the golf majors, all four of them, rank on things that you would like to do before you die on the sports list?
Meh.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch it on TV.
Ditto. I'm not you've done in golf. I've never been into a golf event.
You've never been to a golf event?
No, the walking, the standing,
You're not really the guy to ask. You got to go to at least one and then make the
I
evaluation
can
of
make the evaluation. It's not as appealing. I'm more of a TV guy at the bar with the crew in general than to go to a game. Now, don't get it wrong. The World Series was an unbelievable, out-of-body experience. But at the same time, I just spoke to one of our other buddies who saw the Braves win 2 years ago. And he had gone to games in Atlanta, and he had gone to games in Houston, but he watched them clinch in New York City at a bar with a lot of people. And he said that was the best part. So I was discussing, I was like, I'm going home. Well, now I guess we'll get into the horns. I was like,
because we were going to do it. We had all intentions of making the trip to Houston.
Making the trip. I was on the fence because I had plans for the holidays with my girlfriend's family, my family meeting, and I was going to New York. And that's why I had confided in him. I was like, how was it, not being there? He goes, it was amazing.
Got it.
That
Well,
all
it didn't
being
even
said,
it didn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We'll start with our game. I do want to say this. It was an unbelievable season. We made it to the Elite Eight for the first time since TJ Ford was there. We were in elementary school.
Yeah. Sweet 16 for the first time since 2008. Kevin Durant was there.
We had, the narrative of this team to start the year was, okay, Chris Beard's here. We're a top 10 team. This is a team that can win the Big 12. This is a team that's a sneaky team, and maybe not even a sneaky team that can win the whole thing. Chris Beard's scandal happens. Everyone goes, oh no, classic Texas. They blow a good roster. They choke once again. They're in the news. It's TMZ, 5-star players, 3-star mentality. Who's Rodney Terry? He flopped at Fresno State. He comes in, keeps us exactly on course. We have the season we're pretty much supposed to have, and now he gets the job. And I'm in group text with people, and they're saying, oh, I want a big name. I want a big fish. I want Calipari. We can get whoever we want. First of all, no, we can't. It does not work like that. Because I guarantee you, I don't think Mac Brown was the first choice. I don't think Chuck Strong was the first choice. Maybe Herman was because he was a hot coordinator from Ohio State. And I don't think Sarkisian was our first choice.
First choice was Nick Saban or Urban Meyer.
Neither of that was happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, but do we think that those guys were let's talk about realistic choices. And I think that's what your point is, right? Is that Calipari's not going to leave Kentucky, another blue blood school, to come to coach at Texas. Now, some guys would move up, like what Shaka did to try it.
To give it a shot. Maybe McDermott. But if he's killing
He's
it.
comfortable.
He's comfortable at Creighton killing it over there in the Big East, which
Yeah.
again is sending UConn is probably the favorite to win the whole thing now, and the Big East will win the whole tournament. So why would you leave the Big East when it's just getting better?
Yeah, you just got to look at the names that are available, and there's not really many guys that would either jump ship or are available. I mean, unless Jay Wright wants to come out of retirement and leave the broadcast booth, but he's chilling right now.
He's won 2 rings.
But ultimately, your interim head coach stepped in and took your team to the Elite Eight. And what it's all about is winning as many games as possible. And like you said, this is the deepest tourney run we've had since we had TJ Ford. So I would say that's a massive success for Rodney Terry and the Texas Longhorn basketball program, and especially against the adversity that they were handed with the Chris Beard situation. So why would you look anywhere else? Why?
We had one team that lost to Northern Iowa. We were the 6th seed in the first round. We were the 3 seed and lost to Stephen F. Austin in a team that I was like, oh, that's our best team I've ever seen. That's a team that can go to the Final Four. This year with Rodney Terry, and we didn't even have probably our hottest player in the tournament with Dylan DeSue. First, second straight game. So our interior presence is minimal. Their ability to go to the line in the second half was astronomical. And we out-fouled them by 10-plus fouls. They were perfect from the line. It was almost an anomaly game.
Yeah, they had 28 points off free throws.
So
Like,
we're probably a Dylan DeSue injury away from going to the Final Four. Now, do we beat UConn? I don't know. They've been absolutely demolishing teams. That Gonzaga game was not even close. That was
the closest a team has got to him all tournament was 15.
They beat the you-know-what. And I feel like this happens with UConn. Like, all of a sudden, like, we knew Sonogo was good. Jackson's like an NBA player. We were talking about NBA players. Jackson's an NBA player. Hawkins is probably an NBA player as well. So now they have 3 guys who are at least NBA caliber players on their team. I would say they're the favorite to win this SDSU FAU game. I don't even know what to make of that. But I think
Hopefully San Diego State.
I'm anticipating it's San Diego State UConn final. But again,
I mean, this FAU team has won a lot of games this season.
they won a lot of games this season. It's just so crazy to me. UConn demolished. San Diego State, by and large, took care of business in the first round. FAU is a mistake away from not even making it out of the first round. Miami was down to Drake. That was like our upset pick. They were down to Drake and won like on a 13-1 run.
They were down from us, too. We had a 13-point lead. I mean, they've been coming back all tournament.
Yeah.
SDSU did the same thing against Alabama when they played them. Like,
And Creighton. They were down in the Creighton game, too.
There's an interesting theory that I've begun to have in these kinds of tournaments. When you're up by a lot with a lot of time left against a good team like San Diego State, like Miami, and you're not in attack mode anymore, and there's kind of a lull in your game, and you kind of, the heart rate, you get comfortable, you get a little more lax in your offense, and they're like attack mode, go, go, go. It's a bit difficult to tick back up your pace. And so all of a sudden, when these teams start pouring on the points, and you look at it, I mean, I was watching Timmy hit free throws, on March Madness Instagram because he was singing with his mom, and a story with his mom that they were putting up. We were up by 10 with 9:45 to go. And all of a sudden, I remember looking back up, it was 70-68. I go, oh my God.
yeah, it happened very quickly.
Happen?
They didn't even hit a 3 in the second half.
And we were on our heels at that point.
Yeah, they were hitting a lot of quick shots. And I looked, I think it was like 60-something to 60-something with like 14 minutes left. And I was like, oh gosh, this is a high-scoring game. We don't tend to do very well in these type of games.
Right.
The games that we do really well in is when we limit our team to lower scores. And of course, that's easier said than done. And that's the obvious assumption here. But our offense always is able to keep up.
Yeah, and another thing to Coach Terry, they're Beard's guys. He inherited Beard's team. We were so good at limiting teams. We played Colgate, the best three-point shooting team in the nation.
Xavier,
Penn State, all 3 top 15. They couldn't hit a 3. Miami, they beat us, couldn't hit a 3. The defense on the perimeter that he implemented, I thought his game plans were good. It was the first time he lost after leading in the half. This guy, to me, earned his shot. And it's important, we were saying off air, to keep him there So we get a guy like Mitchell who should probably stay.
Yeah.
Morris to stay. And you can return your team. And that's the key. Because you look at this Florida Atlantic team.
I mean, this is a vet heavy Texas team. It's the same thing that I
all
imagine.
The teams that made it were vet heavy.
Right. SDSU has how many? 6, 7 seniors on their team? Like
UConn.
If you want to be a program that continues to have success, when you bring in a guy who's a 5-star, like Arterio Morris, you have to retain that talent. You have to keep him on the team. Same thing with Dylan Mitchell. And for him, it's less about him staying. I'm not worried about him staying at Texas if he decides to not declare for the draft, but knowing that he can get a lot better and grow so much as a player in a way that he won't be able to if he heads to the NBA draft. And I mean, the Texas program has had examples of it, right? Like if I were Terry, I would say like, look what happened with Greg Brown. And now Greg Brown is struggling to retain a roster spot on an NBA team.
He didn't develop his game. Proctor and Duke, who I think is a better game than Mitchell, is returning.
Right. In a way where, like, look, he can get so much better if he goes to the NBA because those skills trainers, those developmental coaches are top tier. They're the best in the world. But he won't have the opportunity to go into his sophomore season at Texas and then be like, you are the guy now. Mm-hmm. We need you to be a starter. We need you to play 35 minutes instead of the 20 to 22 minutes you were playing. Even though he started every single game for us, he was essentially playing bench player minutes, right?
Yeah, he got 13 minutes last game.
Yeah.
Rim runner, finisher, like
add a mid-range jump shot, add a little high post game,
corner three,
become a guy that sets every screen for Tyrese Hunter next season, and rim runs and catches slips and then dunks, and really become a guy that can score like 13 points and almost average a double-double. Then when you head to the NBA draft, like you're a real valuable talent and you have the confidence in your game to back that up.
He can average a double-double next season.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that block in that game last night, and they were like, "Oh, it was a goaltend." It was like, no, that guy just gets up.
He gets. We were watching people, and one of the non-Texas fans goes, "Dude, that guy flew."
Yeah, and on the defense, one was a defensive foul, which it shouldn't have been, and that block was incredible too.
Yeah, he's a better athlete than Greg Brown is, but there is a value. You can make money as a college player. There is still a value to stay and grow your game. Real quick before we move on to Lamar Jackson, Final Four. Take your San Diego State. Just objectively, good Final Four. Do we like this, or are we kind of like, a little uninspiring?
I don't mind because at the end of the day, like it sometimes gets boring to see just like the Kansas, the Duke, the Kentucky, the Villanova, just like over and over and over again. So I like that we're potentially getting a first-time champion, or a team like UConn that hasn't won in a little bit.
Yeah, since 2014,
but been probably the most dominant team since the 2000s in regards to if they win this year, will they have the most national championships?
They'll have 3.
Okay.
It's close.
I don't know if they're the most dominant
UNC
team. No,
they're one of. They're certainly one of.
Certainly one of
the best tourney teams in our lifetime, for sure.
Yeah.
I would probably say the most dominant college team since the 2000s. Let's say they win.
UNC, I think.
Yeah.
UNC's just been there a bunch. Nova's won.
UVA has 2.
UVA has
They have
one.
one.
Kansas
Kansas
just
has
because they're dominant in the Big 12.
last year, and then
But
the
no,
Chalmers
what
year.
I'm trying to say is I think I like that there's a lot of parity now.
Duke.
Yeah.
And that like it literally this shows you that anybody in the tournament can win.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that. I think for me it's like 50-50. It's like I understand where some people are coming from and being like, no, this is amazing. None of these teams have been there. This is great. This is what it's all about. 3 teams that have never even been to the Final Four. Forget if they even get to the championship. But I also understand from the other side of it where it's like me as a guy who really, really relishes watching tourney games because I get to watch top-tier talent performing at the college level and evaluating from like an NBA standpoint. And seeing guys like come through and have heroic moments like Serge Ibaka Rice, where it's like now an NBA team might take a swing at that guy, which is awesome. That's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. A guy like like Davion Mitchell and like what he became and how much higher he flew up draft boards after that Baylor championship.
Isaiah Wong, if he could take down UConn.
We were missing some of that star power in this tournament now in this Final Four.
But we were missing that in college basketball this year.
I don't know about that. The Alabama team that a lot of people were picking.
I love Brandon Miller.
I
love Brandon Miller.
He sucked this tournament.
Stunk against San Diego State.
Not just against San Diego State. He had the lowest field goal percentage in tournament history. over the course of all of his games.
For the guy
was
that
three
had
of-
that many attempts.
He
Yeah.
was 3 of 19. He was brutal again. And that one game, yeah, he was not good.
But we're just saying, like, Timmy's out now, right? Like, Edey got bounced in the first round. Like, Brandon Miller, the bigger names of college basketball are no longer there. I would say, like, UConn has a couple, right? And then, like, Isaiah Wong, great that he's there. Matt Bradley's been around in college basketball, even though he's not playing well right now. I couldn't tell you, like, any one of these FAU guys. I didn't know them before the tournament started. And that's great. But I think you might see that in the viewership of just less people caring now for this next weekend.
Yeah, I can't.
And I wouldn't be surprised.
No offense to either of these teams. Great that they made it, but I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of viewers for San Diego State FAU.
Yeah.
But
Nick will be watching.
Nick
and
will be
we
watching.
supporting our boy.
There is a good. I'm glad that it's maybe not Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, and UNC all in the Final Four.
Yeah, we
there's
get-
like. I would be cool with Miami getting, and they've been close and close. And Jim Larenega's the first time since he was with George Mason, ironically, the head coach there. So
Incredible.
He's been to the Final Four. Okay, Lamar Jackson requested a trade pretty much at this point last month. We've been pondering for God knows how long. We've been Christian pondering for God knows how long. Will he stay? Will he go? It seems like he's going. So I have my top 3 destinations in order.
Well,
give it to you.
it seems like he's. I think at this point it's pretty clear he's either going or he's not playing this season, right?
I hate that. Yes, it does seem like that's the case. He will.
They don't have to trade him.
They don't have to trade him. He will collect his money and not suit up for the Baltimore Ravens.
That would be my expectation.
His days.
Unless he has a massive change of heart, 180 essentially, which he seems like a guy who is prideful, as he should be. He's an incredibly talented player and person.
He reps himself. Like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that tells you right there that
Right.
like
He's not gonna.
He's
Yeah.
a little
He's
stubborn.
not walking away from this trade request that
A
he
little
had.
stubborn.
Yeah.
Get an agent, dude.
Yeah.
Get an agent, dude. Like, what do
This
you
could have
do?
been resolved, I think.
Sorry?
This could have been resolved, I think, if he had an agent.
1,000. It would have been 100%. Okay. Let's take out the not playing. Let's take out the Ravens. Top 3 destinations.
You go first. You have your list already set up. So
It's very fair. Number 1, Indianapolis Colts. I think that they think they're in contention or have a roster that can contend. Good defense. You only have to give up 2 firsts. That's it. So you give up your 2 firsts for Lamar. And all of a sudden, they're right there with the Jags. Number 2.
But one of those first is going to be their top pick this year.
yes.
The number 4 pick.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's huge for the. I mean, look, for the Ravens, good pick.
Great pick.
You could get your quarterback to replace Lamar. You can move around. You could do a lot at the number 4 pick,
Yeah.
and then you get the Colts pick next year. So if they flop, you get that pick as well. So the Colts with Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr. could be a fun team. Number 2, I have been pondering what this team will do at quarterback. Because to me, the rest of the defense on the defensive line is good. The receivers are good.
Commanders.
The Giants, the Eagles, the Cowboys are all coming to play. Yet the Commanders were 500 last year. Were they 8-1?
I think so.
Right there. Yeah.
Right there. So they're 8-1. To me, they're going to be under new ownership. I think going after Lamar Jackson and making him the face of the franchise, giving up your 2 first-round picks, because right now you're at a position where you're drafting 16, you're not going to get one of the guys. Or if you do get one of the guys, you're going to have to give up more than you would be giving up for Lamar Jackson to go to like number 3 to get Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, Flyers.
Yep.
Number 3, and this is one that I've been saying now for 2 weeks.
Jets.
Read my mind. It's almost as if we've been spending time together. The Jets balk on Rodgers, bail on this, give up your 2 firsts this year and next year, and go get Lamar Jackson. Call it a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that's probably my top 3 as well. Be curious to see if like the Packers are that in on Jordan Love, and maybe they want to get in the mix a little bit here if they end up sending Rodgers over to the Jets. But that'd be really the other team I'd throw in there. Because I don't think the Texans are ready. I don't think I don't think the Panthers are going to do it because they have the number 1 pick. They're going to have their pick of the lot.
You're taking Stroud.
Right. I mean, we've been saying the Bucks. I would say the Bucks have to try all they can to get involved. I just don't know what they can really offer.
Monetarily, I think the
Right.
Bucks are a little tied up monetarily.
Exactly.
So you think that the Packers are in a position to potentially do a Slovakian swap?
Sure. Why not?
No.
Lamar's
it's not a
proven.
Norwegian buyback.
And like talk about a roster that they think is like good to go and that can compete. I mean, these guys have been winning the division consistently, except for last season, and not much is changing besides who's playing quarterback.
Lamar Jackson to the Packers.
And I do think the Ravens would prefer him to be in the NFC.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think outside of the teams that know who their quarterback is and know that they have a top 5 quarterback, shouldn't everyone be making the call?
Our boy Jack Settleman, shout out to him and his family. He posted a tweet saying there's really only 5 teams that should not be considering Lamar Jackson. It's the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Chargers,
Eagles.
the Bills, the Eagles, and I think that's it.
I would maybe throw in
Maybe the Jags, Trevor Lawrence.
yeah,
I would throw in the Jags.
I would throw in the Jags.
I would rather have Trevor Lawrence than Lamar.
And
Jackson.
then
So
I
6 teams.
and then I think about teams like
I can't. The
Like
Browns cannot.
if you're the 49ers, like what do you don't want to give so much up
To cripple your future.
and when you're a team that really realistically can contend right now.
And you guys are
with
awesome,
the current roster you have.
and you normally are awesome at drafting too.
Right.
I think John Lynch is a great
same,
drafter.
same with I'm as a Cowboys fan, I'd be wary because we have been probably the best drafting team in the NFL in the last 10 years. We don't miss on our picks realistically.
I could only think of one.
Yeah.
Who are you thinking of?
Who are you thinking of?
Taco Charlton.
You're right.
It's that glaring that I can only think of one.
Yeah. So I would maybe if I were the 49ers and the Cowboys not entertain it. But everyone else, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
why not ask?
There's a couple teams that definitely cannot, like the Browns. You said I don't think the Broncos can.
I don't think the Saints can afford it.
They've already made their move.
Yeah, Saints made their move, so
Right. Same with the Raiders.
They're not trading him to the Steelers.
right. You could basically count out the entire division.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the Finns?
Dolphins, yeah, I was gonna say Dolphins maybe.
I actually think
No.
the Panthers is kind of interesting.
What about your Pats?
I don't know. I don't.
I think that's
dislike
a
Mac-
sneaky dark horse pick.
Yeah, it is. But I don't dislike Mac Jones, man. I really don't.
Yeah, but come on, Lamar Jackson or Mac Jones?
Yes,
Like,
I'm cool riding Mac's cheaper deal.
How much can Mac really surprise you? How much better could he really play than he
A
did
lot.
did from his rookie season?
In his rookie season, a bit better from his rookie season where we made the playoffs.
Yeah.
he's a Pro Bowler.
Not because of him. There was one game that you won where I think he threw no passes, one pass.
Hey, it was windy. It was a windy night. We beat the Bills.
Beat the Bills.
Bro.
It was
We
a
beat
big,
the
big game. It
Bills.
was a big game. It was a fun game.
Get me
Fun
Jerry
game.
Judy.
It's kind of
Give me
fun.
Jerry. Give me dude. Save Jerry Judy from. They're not trading him. They say. Get me Jerry Judy, dude. I love Jerry Judy. I've always loved Jerry Judy. I think he's a player that's starving for a consistent. His quarterbacks have been Russell Wilson with Nathaniel Hackett, Reppian, Drew Lock. I mean,
It's been tough.
did he have? He never had Paxton Lynch. That's
Who was
a long time ago.
that one week though? He had
he had Teddy Two Gloves at one
What-
point.
Oh, yeah, he had the.
what wide receiver was it that stepped in as QB that one week?
Yeah,
Hinton.
Was it Hinton?
Yeah, Kendall Hinton.
Kendall Hinton. If the Broncos hadn't had to have given up the compensatory picks by bringing in Sean Payton, would Sean Payton be doing everything in his power to just somehow swap Wilson and Lamar and just get rid of him? Just get rid of Wilson.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure he would, but that they would never.
Of
do
course
that.
they don't. Yeah.
That would never.
Too deep
happen.
in the hole at this point.
Yeah, I think that he'll be gone within the next 2 weeks.
Before the draft, you have to.
You have to.
There's a deadline for this type of thing if you're giving up 2 first-round draft picks.
You need to be. The teams need to be set in stone with what they're doing draft night. This is not a draft night move, in my opinion.
Are we sure about that though? Because
Yes.
he made the request on March 3rd. 24 days later right now. He had to tweet about the fact that he made the request. Clearly,
Yeah, but
are,
he made the
are they
request-
both parties are trying to out-stubborn each other, and I feel like this is not a desperate move by him, but it is a move that it was another card that he's playing.
Yeah. No, I think that he made the request before the franchise deadline, the tag deadline, before all this happened. They were not going to trade him before they made their move. And their move was to either give him the exclusive tag or the franchise tag. And they made the exclusive tag, so they know that they're locking in 2 first-round picks. Because I actually think that's a great move by the Ravens. Because based off history,
Knowing now that the information of him requesting the trade, yeah.
you set your price and you call it a day and you get your 2 first. Because I think teams like Deshaun Watson trade, Russell Wilson trade, wouldn't you be a bit weary of all these trades happening and giving up all these draft picks?
They had to do that. They had to do that.
They have to do that. Give me your 2 first and I'll call it a day.
Yeah.
But he'll be moved. Okay. Baseball. This is it, man.
This is it.
This might be it
Opening
for
week.
you. This might be the opening week for the rest of your life.
You know what's funny is that we could get a parade in San Diego for San Diego State basketball before we did for Padres baseball or Chargers football. Pretty wild, huh?
Oh yeah.
It is wild but unsurprising.
First parade in
San
San
Diego.
Diego sports history would be San Diego State basketball, which, look, I'm not mad at it. But, hey, build a winning culture in San Diego. Title town.
Rains and pours.
It does.
That's what I was thinking about our Texas Longhorns basketball team. Had we won in basketball, it rains and pours.
Football.
Carried on to football.
Yep.
I was anticipating.
I still think that even though we didn't win the tournament or not in the Final Four, making that run to the Elite Eight lights a fire under the football team's
it was
butt a little bit.
inspiring.
It also
I mean, Sarkisian's front row for that game, like, he wants a taste of playoff football.
Yeah, and how about guys getting like alums that played football and basketball getting more involved and vocal about the school?
Aldridge was involved.
TJ
Ford's
Ford
at every game.
KD is tweeting about every
Yeah.
single game. Like that people notice that stuff and they're like, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Like, everyone knows that Kevin Durant went to UT. A lot of people forget about TJ Ford. It's one of the best college basketball point guards we've seen in our lifetime. It's a Wooden Award winner
Yeah, but you don't see Steph tweeting about Davidson,
because they're not making a run.
right?
And it was Davidson making it.
Also, like, you don't see, like, I mean, look, Duke's going to get their guys, but, like, you rarely see, like, the Duke, like, Kyrie's not going out talking about Duke that much,
Yeah, he's talking about a lot of other things.
Yeah.
but-
John Wall and, like, Boogie aren't,
De'Aaron
like,
Fox says he
talking.
doesn't even watch college
Kentucky.
basketball anymore.
Oh,
Did you see
yeah,
that?
yeah. I did see
He's
that.
like, I don't watch college hoops. It's terrible.
That's kind of a bad take.
Horrible take.
Maybe during the regular season I can get on board with that take, but every game in March Madness, except for the ones that UConn has been involved in, have been
good.
have been awesome games.
The Gonzaga UCLA game was an all-timer. Again,
The Michigan State
Kansas State game.
Kansas State game was
phenomenal.
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, even our game against Miami was good.
Yeah.
We were on the wrong end of it, but it was a good game. Well, I mean, maybe not with the refs. Okay, so baseball is back. Top 5 hot takes for the MLB season. I could kick us off.
Sure.
I'll give one, and then maybe we could go around the horn. My first take: the Mariners and the Blue Jays each win their divisions.
I don't think that's a poor take. I think you have a better chance with the Blue Jays
Sure.
because the Astros are the reigning champ.
Reigning champs.
And there's really not much to change there besides Verlander heading to New York.
It's a pretty big change. Cy Young winner.
Sure, but I mean,
Altuve's missing the first few months.
it's a great lineup that they have there, and it's a great rotation they've already had in place. And I know that Verlander is Verlander, but 40 years old, starts to catch up a little bit.
but they were missing. But last year they had him, and he won the Cy Young. Best pitcher in baseball last year.
Okay.
So I think the Mariners, with they have a deep rotation, good mix of vets and young guys. I think their lineup is solid. Room for improvement, of course.
You
but
also can't count out the Rangers too. Made
Thank you,
lot,
I don't
made
think
a lot of moves.
I don't think they make that jump, but that's my hot take. I love the Jays.
I would say, like, based off of the personnel of each club, shouldn't the Rangers be the second best team in that division?
no.
No?
The Mariners are very just balanced throughout their
Yeah.
entire line. Like their rotation is sick. Luis Castillo,
Ray,
Gilbert,
Kirby.
They have a great
and then
they have a great staff.
Julio Rodriguez out there in center field. Ty
they-
France had a resurgence
They
here.
brought Teoscar Hernandez in.
Yep,
They
that's
brought in Colton Wong. They're good. They're legit.
You wouldn't lean lineup to the Rangers though?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
But I would lean depth of
I
rotation.
mean, you got to see what DeGrom looks like too.
Got to see what DeGrom looks like in the AL. Got to see him healthy. I think the Rangers.
I feel like that still feels a little ahead of schedule though, for the
Hey, it's a
Mariners.
hot take though.
it's a hot take.
Good
It's my
hot take. Good hot
It's
take.
a good hot take. You're
Blue
up.
Jays I like though. They would have to, surpass the Yankees, but other than that, like I think they're the second best team in there. And that's a good division too. I mean, the Rays are always great, and the Orioles were great last year. And unfortunately, I think your Red Sox are going to be at the bottom there.
No, I don't think so.
Do you think the Orioles will be back at the bottom?
Yes, but I think it's going to be a tight race there. What's your hot take, Alex? There's one.
My hot take is that we're going to get, I don't necessarily know if this is super hot, but we're going to get movement on mid-season movement. I don't know if it's going to get executed in the middle of the season, but the conversations are going to get started, and they'll be very real on both Trout and Ohtani.
I'll say that was my second hot take. Ohtani
That-
and Trout won't be teammates come August.
Is that hot though?
Pretty hot.
I think it's.
I think it's less a hot take and more just like an important thing that's going to happen in baseball
Yeah.
that will then be a massive domino. And I'm saying not just Ohtani because we've been talking about that, but I think both of them.
Yeah. Well, I know, but we've been discussing both of them. To me, honestly, it's crazy to say. I kind of feel like there's a higher likelihood that Trout gets moved before Ohtani.
I don't think that's crazy, dude.
Why wouldn't you build on Ohtani and you have him? Like, do it.
He's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I don't. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
If Trout, who has had some injury issues the past few seasons,
Getting older.
if he's fully healthy and killing it, I would sell high.
Right.
I would sell
He's
high.
also locked up for a lot of years too. So like you're playing with a lot more there. Like you can demand a way bigger package in return, I think, than you can for Ohtani because Ohtani, there's no guarantee that you resign him. I mean, obviously you trade for him with the intention of trying to go after that extension, but if you're trading for him at the deadline, you're only getting less than half the season for him, realistically, locked in. So with Trout, you could block him up for the rest of his career. Still Mike Trout.
Yeah.
So
Give
He
us
is-
one, Nick. One
He
for
is
you.
still Mike Trout. Yeah.
he still is that dude.
One for you, Nick.
All right, hot take.
Yeah.
Scherzer and Verlander will not be All-Stars.
Wow. All right, spicy boy.
I think the age catches up at some point.
As they say in the old state of Texas, the chickens have come to roost. At least 3 guys will have 200 plus hits. It's not like a spice level like that, but we had none last year. I think Freddie Freeman's a good option, despite you thinking the Red Sox will stink. I think Devers,
Bo Bichette.
Bobichette's a great pick. I think if McNeil could see 150 plus games, I think he's a sneaky pick. I think we'll see guys go over 200 hits. We didn't see a single guy do it last year.
Trey Turner, maybe.
Yeah,
I see it.
I'm curious. They have Hoskins, Harper. I'm curious about that team. Toss, you want to throw one out?
Yeah, I think the Mets end up the third best team record-wise in that division.
So you think it's Braves?
Third in the division. Oh wow.
I think the Braves are going to win that division too. The Diaz injury is a death blow. Nick,
I just seen that team has rotten luck.
Rod,
Yeah, I kind of want to stay in that division and say the Phillies missed the playoffs.
that was going to be one of
They're
mine.
going to start slow. I know I mentioned Trey Turner, but he might be the only shining, light to that team right now. It's a good lineup. It's a good rotation too. But missing Harper till like June or July might, start. They started slow last year too. And he missed the second half of the season. He came back around playoff time because he got hurt. Against the
They
Padres.
fired Joe Girardi.
They fired Joe Girardi mid-season, and they made the World Series.
Unbelievable.
It's insane.
So I think they, regress a little bit, and they missed the playoffs.
Okay.
The rotation, I feel like, is good, but there's way too many good rotations in baseball, and I think that they're going to take a little step back.
And a tough division. And if you don't have Harper and the Braves and the Mets can rack up wins on you.
I mean, they can't. Fried, Strider, Kyle Wright. The Braves have as good of a rotation as
I feel like Acuna's
Don't
kinda,
count the Marlins
kinda
either.
do.
Could be a little sneaky there.
Okay. Yeah. I think they could be a surprising team. I think the Royals and the Reds could be more surprising than people give them credit for. That's not a hot take. I just want to throw that out there. I'll stick with like going back to your Ohtani take. I think the Brewers are major sellers at the deadline.
Yeah.
Woodruff, Peralta, Burns, Dev Will. I mean, they could really make a nice farm system, and they're not gonna catch the Cardinals. The Cardinals are better than they are for sure.
I'd be interested to see if anyone is willing to take on a portion of Yelich's contract.
to bring in Williams or Burns.
Yeah, and then maybe throw some packages.
Yelich was
some
like good.
trade
Yelich was like good. Like, not worth the money, but good last year.
but I mean, like, you're gonna have to eat a lot of salary if you're the Brewers to get rid of him.
yes, eat some of the salary, but yes, you're gonna have to package Yelich with one of those guys. It's a great point. Toss back.
How
to
old
you.
is he?
Yelich? 31, 32.
Yeah, not that old.
I could do a double check for you guys right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love that.
What's your hot take?
I really, really need to know.
He's 31.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank God. Thank God you're here.
I'm gonna say that Aaron Judge will not lead the league in home runs this season.
Ooh, who's gonna be?
I like that.
I like that. Who's it gonna be? Pick a guy.
I like.
Mike Trout.
Listen, Nick.
I mean, honestly, that's if he stays healthy.
It's a good
He had
pick.
40 home runs last year and
Right.
missed a ton of games.
The pace that he was on was
good-
pretty unbelievable.
It's a good pick for pace. But
I like Alvarez taking like a true
yeah.
jump.
yeah,
If he's healthy.
and being like at the end of the year, wow, this guy's one of the 5 best position players in baseball.
he's close. But yeah, I love Alvarez. He's awesome.
All right, this is a hot take that has nothing to do with any teams or any players
Okay.
or any winning or anything.
Out of the box.
The MLB has the best ratings that they've ever had this season in viewership.
Love that. More people watched the World Series last year than the NBA Finals.
And World Baseball Classic really got people excited across the world. And I think across the world, all over the world.
Across the world. Mr.
I really think
305.
that this is the year that a lot of people can't really find out who is like the odds-on favorite, right? Like everyone's like the Dodgers. Dodgers take a big step back, and you could say that hurts baseball if the Dodgers are in the World Series. But screw that. I'm in for parity. I want to see the entire country, get behind their teams. Of course, New York is going to be vying too, and that's always good when New York is good. So I really think that baseball viewership is going to take a big spike up, and we're just so spoiled now with so many great superstars in this game. And, the magnifying glass is going to be on Ohtani and Trout to see how their season's going and if they end up on different teams. And there's so many good stories like with the Padres and Tatis coming back after missing a full season and Juan Soto looking for an extension and Manny Machado just got his thing. And you got Trey Turner going over to the Phillies. So it's going to be a very interesting season full of great storylines. And I think the ratings are going to be massive.
Is this of the major 4 sports, professional sports in the United States, most parity in comparison to the other 3 leagues, the NHL, the NBA, and the NFL?
Yeah, so that was going to be my 5th point.
Think so?
Right?
Yes.
Like you're saying that the Mariners could win the division, right?
Well, I'm about to
and if
say-
they can win the division, then you would expect that's a team that could potentially make it all the way to the World Series.
Yes.
Phillies made it to the World Series last year.
Correct.
They fired their coach. We're already seeing it, but I think even more so as these young stars become guys like J-Rod and other guys out there.
You have 6 teams in the NL. Pods, Dodgers, Cards, Mets, Braves, Phillies that can win it. It's pretty good. I think my next take was...
And you don't feel like any of those that you just named are like a stretch.
No.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked if any of those teams won. Or made it, at least. I think my other hot take was despite not winning the division, the Rays were going to make the ALCS. So in my mind, in the AL, you have the Stros, the Mariners,
The Yankees.
Yankees, the Jays, the Guardians. The Guardians, to me, are a lock to win that division. The Guardians could end up having the best infield in baseball.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Bell, Jimenez, Naylor, he with the Pods.
Yep, he was.
He's pretty nice, honestly. And then obviously Jose Ramirez is a stud. And Rosario's good. And so the Jays, the Rays, the Yanks, the Guardians, the Stros, and the Mariners. And I think that the White Sox are more fun than they were last year with a little pressure off. And I think
And
no
no
health.
drunk manager.
And I think the Jers are solid, and I think the Red Sox play some games.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
parity. All right,
I'm in for that.
Western Conference basketball.
Wait, you got all 5 of your hot
Oh,
takes?
sorry, did I skip you? Do you want one more? Yeah, I got all 5 of mine.
Okay.
They were.
I don't think you got all 5.
That's all right.
We were all in agreement on.
I got some out there.
You got them. You threw some out there. We threw a lot out there.
Good shatter.
I'm curious to see if the Scherzer Verlander one happens. That would be a disaster for the New York Mets.
Yeah, it's the Mets.
Rooting for disaster. Okay. I have these teams on my list: Mavs, Grizz, Clippers, Lakeshore. Let's start with the Mavs.
Yeah, currently out of the play-in. They are 36 and 39. They would retain right now if the season ended the top 10 protected pick that they traded to the New York Knicks for Kristaps Porzingis.
Would you be into that?
Absolutely.
Need that.
So you want them to miss the playoffs?
I would love to. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm
Yes.
I'm in full tank mode right now. We cannot. This current iteration of the roster, before even pre-Kyrie trade, I would say the exact same thing. Cannot play good enough defense to get us back to the Western Conference Finals, past the first round. Like, it wasn't. To me, I think that all of our blemishes that the Mavs organization and team currently has were enhanced by this Kyrie trade. I don't think it's something that, like, I feel as a Mavs fan and as just a lover of the NBA and basketball that Nico Harrison should have done something different. I think you kind of had to do this. You kind of had to make that move.
You have to give it a shot to get him somebody.
100%. And he hasn't played with another guy that when he's on the court, and he, for the most part, has been. He missed a couple of games because he had a close friend die, and he missed a couple other games because he had plantar fasciitis, which reasonable. Yeah, I mean, I think that we have some serious things to address. We need a long, hard look in the mirror. Some of that's going to have to be from the tip top, Mark Cuban. He's a very stubborn guy. He's done things his way. And I think it's kind of bit him in the ass multiple times.
You overshot it.
How long is Kyrie under contract? I know there's no guarantee that he actually plays for you guys next season because obviously we see people.
He'll be an unrestricted free agent this offseason.
He's done. Okay.
Yeah, he could go. To me, y'all were picking in the top 5 when you guys got Luka, and then immediately shot up to contention because he's so good.
Right.
You still,
The second year, because the first year he played with like Dirk when he was in his 19th season.
but that's still even what you never had a proper tank.
If you're a top 5 or top 10 protected team, there is a chance you get the number 1 pick, right?
chance. There's like a 3% chance. Yeah. But even like at the 10 spot, I
That'd
mean,
be
this is a
insane.
team that
Wemby and Luka.
has been ailing for just young talent to put alongside Luka, or even just to have on our roster.
Grady Dick,
A guy like
Mavs player of all time.
Grady Dick would be awesome. I mean, that's a guy that can shoot the three. He's got good size.
Dallas Dick.
Getting dick down in Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I
make
don't
it
think
happen.
you need to discuss it anymore after that. I think
No,
Grady
so
Dick is
that's
gonna
where
be
I am
Mavs.
on the team. Is I'm content with us tanking, and I think that it's not what you want from a narrative standpoint. Like, it's not something that we see happen often from a Luka narrative standpoint, from a Luka career standpoint, and what he could potentially become in the talks of NBA legends, right? Because I think he's that talented. If he wins a few rings, that's a guy that we've talked about it before, can sneak into the top 20 all time if he plays for 15 years at the same level that he's played the first 5 years of his career.
I hope y'all get Jokic.
What?
I want y'all to get Jokic. I want Luka and Jokic to play together.
That's not gonna happen.
I know.
But yeah,
What would it take?
I'm fine with where we are.
What would it take? If you had if you had that top 10 protected pick, you package that in with more picks and
We don't have
players.
We don't have enough.
He's untradeable. Him, Embiid, and Giannis are untradeable at the moment.
Damn, Luka.
And Luka, you cannot.
Just the packages would be too big.
Cities.
Yeah,
That you'd have to give up. You'd have to give up the skyline. to get Jokic.
Top skyline out there. It's been a while since that report came out. I think that was about 10 years ago.
It's really quick.
No, but I definitely do think that what I was saying about the narrative aspect of it is if he does not make the play-in, and I think most hoop heads would agree he's a top 5 player in basketball, that's a massive failure.
Playing, yeah.
Because he's going to play over 60 games. It's not like he was out the entire season with an injury. Like, how many times has a team where LeBron played 50-plus games, Giannis played 50-plus games, and Embiid not even been a top 10 seed?
Top 10 seed? When was the last time LeBron has played?
The only time was the Lakers when he got hurt for like the entire season.
Yeah, but
I guess I could talk about top 5 players where that's happened. Like, there were a couple seasons where Kobe and the rest of that team was so bad where
he was always like a 500 team,
except those couple of years. But it was ACL stuff. And
yeah. I do want to hit on the Grizzlies really quickly.
Yeah, John Morant came. He's back. He's playing.
I hated that. Like, they welcomed back. He welcomed him back like he came back from injury. There's no repercussions. He died on the mental health, hill, which I get that there's a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah. It's not a quick fix, though.
It's not a quick fix, and I think that I think that the way that he was welcomed back is if he did nothing wrong. The 8 games was nothing. I really thought that was in poor taste. The players quickly jumped to his aid. Adam Silver can't do anything about it because the players run league. When it goes great, it goes great. When it goes like this, and they basically say that he can't do no wrong, and they side with him, that it did not. I don't think it was beneficial. I think a joke was made of it, and I just thought it was.
So you think like he's not gonna change? Do you think that he needed to learn his lesson a little bit more?
But I think he could change, but I do think he needed to learn. Like, they were making jokes about his dad being on the sideline with no alcohol. It's like, dude, like, it wasn't like the one instance. You know how dumb you have to be, not to beat a dead horse, to go on Instagram Live with a gun?
But the thing is, it's not even just that. It was all season long. Like, the whole instance with Shannon Sharp all season, and like just game, like the basketball court thing, like with the 17-year-old or 16-year-old,
laser pointers. It was just all. It was a mountain of stuff building, and I just think that the way that he was welcomed back and post game press, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I think that I didn't see someone that was remorseful. I saw someone that was like, I can't believe I was suspended for 8 games. I should be welcomed back with open arms. Mm-hmm. But on a light note, baseball's back. March Madness Final Four, we'll see you next weekend. And it is Monday, and we are the Charity Stripe. So, fans out there, drag both feet inbound, swing on a full count, rip that puck, hit that putt. Hit your PKs because they're free, and hit your free throws. Why, guys?
Because they're free.
And because you got fouled a lot.
Because you got fouled a lot. We love you.